This is like Yachty rapping. This is like he rapping for the children. And that's my, yo, dog, I had to look up how old this nigga was when I finished listening to the album. You are 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You would be 37 years old. Get the fuck away from some of these younger and stop fucking these 25-year-olds. I'm listening to the album.
He benched it.
Why are you still fucking a 25-year-old? You're a 37-year-old billionaire.
So Drake's response to Joe Budden's opinion of his album is basically, you failed at music, why are you talking? And I think it's really interesting because Joe Budden is, of course, like a failed rapper. He tried and he stopped because it wasn't working. It wasn't because he wanted to do something else. It just wasn't working. And then so he did something else. However, the something else is having opinions about hip hop and rap culture. And that is something that he does. So he is sort of entitled to his opinion on this. And it's not completely invalid just because he is a failed rapper. Joe Budden has a little bit of a point when he's saying, why are you still talking about 25-year-olds as a 37-year-old billionaire? Because it's one thing to Leo DiCaprio it. It's another to intentionally put it in a song. You're talking about a 25-year-old and her dreams. And that is something that Drake does historically. He talks about like interpersonal relationships with women and how he puts them on and he takes care of them. That's very much a Drake thing. That's also something that has historically worked for him throughout his career. So I wouldn't expect him to stop doing that. And I think when it comes to like, oh, stay away from these young guys, I think that's a jealous thing to say. I think saying you're with all the young and hip crew, that feels a little loaded and that feels a little bit jealous because, and he's saying, you know, you're like Lil Yachty, which is that's a random thing to say. What he's saying is you're still relevant and I'm not. That's what I hear when Joe Budden is like, you're hanging out with all these young people. He's hanging out with like the successful rappers still. And that feels like a little bit of a, I don't know where that's coming from take. But I think talking about like his fixation with putting young women on, that's a valid point. And it just kind of brought to mind like whose opinions are valid when it comes to how we talk about music, how we feel about music. Because I would say like Joe Budden probably has a good amount of perspective when it comes to what he does. Not that I agree with him often, or I don't know. I actually don't listen to him that much. I've only listened to him a couple times. But I think as somebody who used to be in the rap game, I think your opinion makes sense. I think it's okay to have an opinion. I think some of it might be a little bit coming from a jealous place, but I don't think all of it necessarily is. I don't know. I kind of see both sides. What do you think?